Hi, I'm Glenn. This is Dave. We're the NC Beer Guys. We promote NC Craft Beer online at ncbeerguys.com. We do these videos to bring you all the great and wonderful beers available across the state. You never know what we might bring you. And if you might can tell by our Raleigh Brewing Company t-shirts today, we're going to do something today a little bit different for us. We've never promoted actually one of our own home brews.
But it's not my recipe,
That's
so
right.
I'm not going to take credit for this.
We had the opportunity recently to sit down with Atlantic Brew Supply and Raleigh Brewing Company guys, and you know they're adjacent to each other, Home Brew Supply store on one side and Raleigh Brew on the other side, and drink the great Miller's Toll, and we had 2 or 3 versions that day. But what we learned then, and what we were able to come home with, is that Atlantic Brew Supply has a kit for home brewers, and it's kind of geared toward the new home brewer a little bit, and it's an extract brew.
Well, they have a different version. We didn't extract.
We didn't extract, but I think the standard one is extract.
Oh, okay.
I think because it talks about in the introduction it's about the 3 gallons with the extract.
Okay, so they have an extract version. We have the all grain version.
So we did a homebrew version, and of course the Miller's Toll is just a great award-winning beer out of Raleigh Brewing Supply, and we're going to sample that.
Raleigh Brewing Supply.
Raleigh, did I say something wrong? And we're going to drink our own brew.
We're gonna
from
take
the recipe of Miller's Toll.
Right, so we're gonna have the kit versus the real thing,
and see how it did. So I think we've done enough. Let's see what we got.
Well, I think what we should do is let me show you what I went through to do this. So you've just seen what we're gonna make. Raleigh Brewing's the Miller's Toll. Today's brew day. Yay, it's brew day. And I like to start nice and early, so it's 7:30 on a Sunday morning, calculate the time so that I am totally ready for the 1 o'clock Panther game. With any brewing you do, you have to sanitize everything. If the wort is going to touch it, it's got to be sanitized. So I usually start from my largest container and keep going down to the smaller containers. Once I get this all ready, we'll get the hot liquor tank going. Okay, so everything's sanitized. Now we have to get the water ready for that in the hot liquor tank to get a mash temperature of 145, which means we have to get a starting temperature of the water at 161.5 degrees. So let's get the party started. Okay, so the next step we have is we got the water temperature to 161.5 degrees to get a mash temperature of 145. Why the difference? Because the grain has a temperature and it's going to mix in with this, and hopefully that calculation is going to bring it to directly 145 degrees. Gotta mill the grain, gotta make sure it's all good. Pour it in. Now you put the water in first, and then you put the grain in. And of course, making sure you don't spill any. What I like to do, because I see a whole bunch in here, is make sure I stir it up a little bit, because you don't want clumps. So I'm gonna do a little bit of stirring first. There we go. Add some more. There we go. All cleaned out. And you stir the hell out of it to make sure all the grain is coated. Yeah. Yep. And get some up in a loop. Oh, it's already beautiful chocolatey brown color already. Okay, so fingers crossed. Let me put this in here. That's a little sanitizer thing. Let's check temperature. Oh, look at that. That's freaking awesome. Nailed it. So, seeing as we nailed it, put that on there. We're gonna mash for we're gonna mash for 60 minutes, and then we do the mash out. But it also, in preparation before that, we'll have to boil some more water for the mash out. We did the whole mash out, sparging. Got my 6.5 gallons in the kettle, and of course, the one thing I started to use late in the game, doing the fears, and had to learn about firm cap. You must get firm cap because this thing can boil over. I do have a larger kettle, and it could possibly help that. But I like this kettle. So firm cap prevent you from getting those boil overs. It's well worth that the money to get that little droplet. Once this thing gets to a boil, put the timer on, add the hops, get through the hop schedule, we're ready to roll. All right, so we got a boil, it's under the foam, so we're adding my first 60 minute. So I'm just using this little clamp on here because I do have the metal clamp, but I'm lazy and I accidentally didn't put it on yet, so I'll just use this other clamp. I like using a sock because, believe me, you don't want to clean up hops. This makes a cleaner beer. We're at 25 minutes. Next batch of hops goes in. All right, 20 minutes. So we have to put the next set of batch of hops in. Gotta follow that schedule. Oops, would be nice to have the camera on there. We're at the 2-minute mark. So we're putting in the last of the hops. And this one, oops. So we're coming to the end of the boil. Okay, so the boil's done, and we're ready to chill it. And we have the chill coil inside. We had to put it in earlier so we get the metal nice and heated. So got a nice differential once the water goes through it. We're at 202 degrees now. It's been on for about a minute already. And we got to get down to 70 degrees in order to get the yeast inside. So this chiller's got its work cut out for it. See you in a bit. Okay, so now we got it chilled down. It's down to 70 degrees, and we're going to put it in the carboy. And yeah, this thing is dark. Very, very dark. So what's going to happen now is once I get this all in there, I got to aerate it for 5 minutes with my little aerator, my rock aerator. And then we're going to put in the yeast. We just added the yeast starter, and I made a 3-liter yeast starter. Why did I make a 3-liter yeast starter? Because based on the calculations, the 2 packets were sufficient, but for me, with such a big beer, I just wanted to make sure absolutely, because my wonderful luck with beer, that I want to make sure I had plenty of cells. So I am in abundance of about 119 billion cells above the needed amount, which is fine with me. So now it's going to sit for a week and work away because I'm doing a little special surprise with the beer in about a week. So there we go. It's fermenting really well, and actually if you look, kind of looks like it maxed out up here. I'm glad I didn't put just a regular airlock on. We put on the blow-off tube so we can see how busy it is. And it's very active, which it should be for a beer that's going to come in, at like almost 9%. So this is a really cool start. I'm very happy right now. Okay, so now we're at Tuesday. We're 2 days past, and okay, it got a little busier. So because you see the blowout tube has gotten filled up, which is really, really good because that means the yeast is still going freaking nuts. And I like when it does that. So you can see my little heater in there, which basically will keep it at the right temperature because of those cold nights. But I'm really glad to see that we have great progress going.
What are you doing?
Oh, well, I decided I'm going to play a little bit.
Okay.
And those holes can be really awesome. But I want to rack off about a gallon of the beer. And I decided I want to soak it in something. They have their bourbon barrel-aged Miller's Toll. And I thought, well, inspiring note, I want a barrel-aged one too. So I decided, I called Crown Royal, they wouldn't give me a barrel. You think that with our cloud we'd have something.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. So I got a bottle. And I'm going to take the bottle, and I'm going to soak oak chips in it. And basically put probably around 1/3 of an ounce of oak chips into the gallon, let it soak, let it sit on it for about 3 weeks, and we'll see how it goes. If it has to go longer, just when you basically barrel aging like that, or let's quote barrel aging, they say do it to taste. So you just taste it every week. So I'm going to keep tasting it.
So when you like it, you'll be done.
That's right.
Sounds good.
Let's do it. So what I did was I racked off 1 gallon. Put it in here, closed it up, made it airtight, added 1/3 of an ounce of the oak blocks that were soaking in the Crown Royal apple whiskey. And this little baby's gonna sit for a while. I'd say maybe about 3 weeks. You can see maybe the oak blocks. Yeah, there they are. Right, just floating on the top. See what kind of a little additive this does to the flavor. So right now what we're doing is we're getting ready. We just sanitized our bottles, which are right on the bottle tree. So they're sitting. We're sanitizing the caps. We're now racking from here, from our carboy, down into the bottling bucket. And what I kind of like to do is, because I'm not sure how much I have, I didn't get my little gauge going, so not know how much beer I've gotten here. So put it into bottling bucket. That I have measurements on. And then we're going to get the sugar ready. We're going to mix it up, and then we're going to start the bottle. Yep, Glenn's starting the bottling. So as Glenn's filling, I get the fun part of capping. So, but we go nice and slow to make sure that we get just the right amount. And it's going nice and slow. It's getting there. Anticipation. There you go. Done. And we go into the case.
So you saw what Dave went through, what we went through to get this to you. It was a little more complicated. It was interesting that when Dave works from his own recipe, we kind of feel like we have some ability and availability to kind of do what we want to do with it.
Right.
We have a recipe and we know what we're doing and we know what the plan is, but you know, if we decide to vary it on brew day or do something different, or something goes haywire and doesn't work just right, we can compensate. We felt a little more like we should stick to the deal here. We didn't exactly stick to the deal. Dave is a brewer and Dave has his own opinion about things.
That's right.
So, and we found the instructions a little bit incomplete in the sense of, if you didn't know something about home brewing, you'd have had some questions when you opened that box and the instructions they had.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I mean, but they may take into account that we got the all grain. You should know what you're doing.
Yeah, by the time you step up the all grain, you should.
What?
Which we did.
Yeah.
But still, we had to jump from the instructions that were strict instructions to do our own thing.
To my brain.
It poured beautiful.
Yes, it did.
A nice, thick, rich head, which the Miller's Toll is known for.
Yep.
And that is nice and substantial. So, at least in the looks of the beer, this is always a dark, black-looking beer.
So I'm going
it's
to
beautiful.
put this one.
Oh yeah, show them in the glass how it looks different. And if I didn't say before, this is the Imperial Oatmeal Stout,
Which is what I made.
which is what we made. They do a barrel-aged version of Miller's Toll. We've had that, it's wonderful, but it's not this.
So it's dark and dark.
The color now, exact. Nailed that.
I nailed the color. I nailed black.
And while out of the can we got a little more carbonation, a little more head to it, the color of the heads are perfectly matched.
Yep.
And like the same consistency.
Yep.
So far, I think the homebrew kit turned out the commercial product.
So let's see how.
And of course, the aroma on this beer is just overwhelming and wonderful.
Smell that. So.
Now it's a little more prominent and better on the aroma.
On theirs.
On theirs, I think.
Okay.
It's kind of like all the same things are coming through, but this is more prominent somehow. You get more of the
aroma.
Appealing aroma than I'm getting from the homebrew version. And part of that could be, you remind me, how old is our homebrew? It's still relatively fresh.
It's 2 weeks after bottling.
So this has not had any aging on it at all.
None.
And while we always like to talk about freshness with beer and particularly canned products too, you can over time get variations, and sometimes these will come up in flavor. So that could explain some of the difference we're experiencing between the commercial product and this. As this got older, it could be better.
Sure. I mean, and we've also experienced during the buzz where it was, we had their barrel-aged version, and then we had the one that they aged for about, I think it was 8 months. And the one that was 8 months was smoother. That was one of my favorite ones. So what do you get out of that?
And what they'll tell you on the instructions, which they give you, and if you go on the website, They give you all the ingredient list and instructions and everything is nice. Also the actually step-by-step things. You get a flavor description. And they do talk about, we just talked about ageability, they talk about, yes, you can age this beer up for a year, up to a year. They apparently don't recommend you do it more than a year.
Yeah, right.
Which you typically should be able to do with oatmeal stout. I would think more than a year would be fine. So, okay, you have both.
Yeah. This is more chocolatey.
Ours is wonderful.
Okay.
This is good. Now, I haven't had this to compare it to, so
Right.
it may not be the Raleigh Brewing Company quality.
Right.
We'll see. But if this was just a home brew that we had done,
right,
we'd be very satisfied with it.
Oh, yeah, I'd be really happy with it. Except for, I'm going to be more happier because what I did
Yeah, tell them.
is I racked off 1 gallon, and it was in the video you saw, and I added the Crown Royal apple to it, and now it's been sitting on that Crown Royal apple, and I just did a taste of it, and holy freaking crap, it is going to be amazing. I mean, people kept asking me, well, you got to taste the apple, you got to taste the apple. You get just...
You were not sure you would either.
Yeah, I wasn't sure either.
Right.
You got just enough of that apple among the flavors that it's already having. Oh, man, it is so smooth. Scary.
All right, Mr. Brewer.
Yes, sir.
Theirs has a much better mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Why's that?
If it's a richer mouthfeel, maybe.
It is.
I'd-
More.
Maybe when
smoother.
So maybe my mash wasn't high. I didn't have enough temperature, which I thought I had. It was 154.
Flavor-wise, there's a smoother a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a little bite to this.
To ours.
To ours.
Okay.
To their kit, ours, whatever you want to call it. The homebrew version. Not much difference though. There really is not.
I think theirs has a little bit more chocolatey flavor than ours does. That's what I got out of it. It's a little bit more chocolatey.
And a better mouthfeel. This is more appealing on the palate as far as the feel in your mouth. That's the big difference, I think.
Okay.
But I think this is a hit out of the park for homebrew.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. If you do
Particularly
it, you'll be really happy with it.
Yeah, I think so. And you get the pleasure of having brewed a highly commercial beer, and you can say to your buds, I brewed Miller's Toll.
That's right.
And don't be trying to pass off with your own stuff. This is Miller's Toll, and you got to be satisfied if it comes out this well. This is great. Very good.
Oh, yeah. Very happy.
So you might want to go online and hit up the Atlantic Brew Supply and see how they offer the kits. And like we said, we think there's both a homebrew version that's extract, because there are they talk about the
Well,
DNA
and it's
malt.
also for people, if they're just getting into homebrew, you know, how do you start? You start with extract kit. So I mean,
Right.
why say, oh, well, you can only do this recipe if you can do all grain? I think it's great that they offer multiple versions of it for multiple levels of brewing.
Right.
It's cool.
So that's a neat thing, and it's so neat to see them doing their successful commercial beers on the homebrew side.
Right. Because
Some people are so ownershipy of their beer that it only buys to make their beer.
Right.
But Raleigh Brew Supply is saying, this is a great beer. We know it's a great beer. It sells well. You've got it out there in the marketplace. But if you want to do your own version, or if you want to take the own version and then, as an advanced home brewer, play with it and make it your own Miller's Toll, as you did with the rum and the apple.
Right. Well, and the other thing is, I mean, you could go when you look online for other places, they sell the clone kits of all the popular beers, but that's someone else doing the clone
I was
kit.
say that's not a clone by the same people who make the beer.
And that's the perk right there, that Raleigh Brewing is making their own kit. So you know you're getting exactly
Who should know better
than
than the man who brewed it what the homebrew should be?
That's right.
And everybody else can figure out what a clone, I mean, everybody clones popular beer recipes.
Right.
But sometimes you don't find that they match very well to what you're used to commercially. And this obviously does. There's some difference, but this is a great experiment for us.
Yep.
Something new and different, and we enjoy brewing it, and we thank Atlantic Brew Supply and Patrick and Christy and all the guys at Raleigh Brewing Company. Alex was there, and he walked us through. We had a great time visiting with them. Check out the buzz that we did a while back with Alex at Raleigh Brew Supply.
Yep.
And go get your own homebrew kit and make up some Miller's Toll.
It's like, because I didn't screw it up, so you can do it.
Maybe. Until next time, this is David Van, NC Beer Guys, reminding you as always, drink local and keep your beer dollars in North Carolina.